Well, former Immigration Minister Robert Jenrick is in today's Mail on Sunday, and he says we've allowed ourselves to be distracted from the issues that matter. He joins me now. Let's talk about some issues that matter. And maybe one of the things that matters right now is that your article reads to me less like a general election article and more like the first shot in the campaign to be the next leader of the Conservative Party.
Well, no, Trevor, I'm here today because I care passionately about the Conservative Party and I want it to get the best possible result at the general election. And I've been spending weeks knocking on doors up in North Nottinghamshire, and I share the values and the concerns of Reform voters, but I'm here to deliver a warning to them that if they vote for anyone other than a Conservative at this general election, they risk, because of our electoral system, a supermajority of the Labour Party that means higher taxes, open borders, a ludicrous energy policy that will make them poorer, and it means ransacking our rural communities like the one that I represent. And I don't want to see that happen, and I don't believe they want to see it either. So they need to think carefully and act on their head, not their heart, or else they will get precisely the opposite of what they want for our country.
Forgive me interrupting you, but we do have to be careful not to talk about your constituency, otherwise we'd have to invite all your rivals on. But and we normally wouldn't invite a second leading Conservative on to the programme. We've had James Cleverly on already. But I do want to go back to this. Your article seems to me, and it's perfectly reasonable, to be talking about what is the future of the Conservative Party overall and what is the future of conservatism. Now, let me just start with this point. To be realistic about this, if your fight is really with Labour, I think a lot of Conservative colleagues who are right now, this minute, lacing up their boots to go door knocking, are wondering what you're doing talking to me instead of getting out on the doorstep.
Well, I have been on the doorstep every day since the election was called, but why I've come down from Nottinghamshire to be on your show today is because I want to deliver this warning to all of those small C Conservatives across the country, whether it's in the East Midlands where I represent or anywhere, frankly, across the United Kingdom, that if they vote for reform, they are going to usher in, I believe, not just a couple of years of harmful Labour government, but potentially a generation of hard-left Labour rule where we will see higher taxes, undoubtedly, where we will see open borders, and all the things that I've been campaigning on that I want to see the Conservative Party achieve will be set back. And untold damage will be done to our country. I can't let that happen, and that's why I want to deliver this message to people watching.
Before we go down that road, nobody's listening to you until you deal with the record of the Conservatives. And part of that record is, if you like, a morality question, which is why the gambling story has become such a big issue. In fact, I gather that Nick Mason, who's one of the senior individuals who is being investigated over this, is actually a councillor where you live, in Hertfordshire. Now, shouldn't you, first of all, be able to say to the public, before you get onto Labour's iniquities, that you repudiate both the Johnson era and the Truss era, which is the thing that you are currently being judged on? Why can't you just say, these people put us in this place?
Well, I don't know this individual. I don't live in Hertfordshire. But what they appear to have done is quite wrong. And I think the Prime Minister was absolutely right to say that they should be booted out of the Conservative Party. What I want to focus on is the future.
But nobody's going to hear you until you deal with the legacy of Boris Johnson and Liz Truss. So what do you want to say about them? Should Boris Johnson be back on the campaign trail for you or not, for example?
Yes, I think he should do. Boris paid a heavy price for what happened in the past, but Boris is one of the stars of the Conservative movement. He's a brilliant campaigner, a superb Conservative politician, and I think at this moment the whole Conservative family needs to unite. We need to rally together. I know that Boris has been campaigning and supporting and providing endorsements to Conservative candidates. I think that's great. and I want to see him welcomed and encouraged to do more in this campaign and, in fact, in the future.
Well, you see, this is a great... thank you for the clarity on that. But this is a very important, interesting point, because we've done some surveying and we've done some work, and actually, if you ask people why they're not voting Conservative, actually, Rishi Sunak is only part of the reason, and at least as big a reason is Boris Johnson and Liz Truss. So what you're saying is, let's get Boris Johnson back on the campaign trail. It's like saying to somebody who's said to you, you know what, thank you very much for the eggs, but I really hate eggs. And you say, OK, I'll give you double eggs. I mean, what is the Conservative Party aiming to sell to the public? Which Conservative Party are you actually trying to promote to the public?
Well, it's no secret that I've had disagreements with the current government. I resigned, after all, from the cabinet over immigration. But I do believe that we face a moment of peril now, because the choice at this election is between the Conservatives who do believe in lower taxes, in secure borders, in controlling and reducing migration. And of course, I know that there are anger and frustration in the country about some of those issues, and I want the party to be stronger on those. But the choice is between the Conservatives and a Labour Party who we know will increase taxes, who we know believe in open borders, who have a frankly ludicrous energy policy that's going to make people poorer and deindustrialise our country. I can't allow that to happen. That's why I'm encouraging all people who share my views, small C Conservatives, the length and breadth of the country, to come and support us, because the Conservative Party should be the natural home for reform voters.
OK. Robert Jenrick, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
And here is the full list of candidates in Newark, where Robert Jenrick is standing.